Hey everyone, welcome back to the Agile Broadcast. Today's topic is effectiveness versus efficiency, and what that means for agile software development. So let's first define both terms. So effectiveness is about producing the right result, the correct outcome, which for software development means developing the most useful features, the most valuable features. Efficiency, on the other hand, is about producing something with little effort. It's about process. It's about making sure things are running smoothly. It's about building the thing right, as opposed to building the right thing. And what that means is that you can be very efficient and not very effective. Or you can be very effective and not efficient at all. Or it can be both, which is probably the best of both worlds. Let me explain with a quick diagram. So if we have effectiveness here, and efficiency down here, then I'm going to define 4 areas as a quadrant. So this area here is an area of low efficiency and low effectiveness. So it's not an area worth talking about really. You're kind of slowly dying. And I'm just going to not really focus on that one here. In this area, you're being really efficient, which means you're building the thing right. But you're not really effective on this scale, which means you're building the wrong thing. So really what you're doing is you're building the wrong thing really well. And that's an area where basically you're wasting a lot of effort. And basically teams in that area are always too busy. They're too busy to have retrospectives, and when they have retrospectives, what do they talk about? They talk about how to become even more efficient. They talk about how to review code more quickly and things like that. But they're not talking about what actually really matters, which is how to be effective, which is how to build the right thing. They're not talking about how to move themselves from this part of the graph to this part of the graph. So really, you want to move from here, first maybe there, which is building the right thing. Now this is where innovation happens. Now here you're not being very efficient, but it doesn't matter, because once you know how to build the right thing, you can then move that way and try and optimize what you're doing. And that's really when you get the best of both worlds, when you're both efficient and effective. So let's make this a bit more concrete with an example. But I need to first get rid of this diagram. So let's take a situation where you have to choose a software library for your project. And you have 4 different options. So you have library A, B, C, and D, let's say. You're not sure which one to choose. So you talk to some colleagues, you do some research, you look online, and you try to make a judgment call on which one is the best for your context. And you decide that library B is the one to go with. And you work on it for, let's say, 4 weeks. And at this moment, after 4 weeks, you realize that it's not compatible with some other parts of the system. And you pick another alternative, maybe library C, and you carry on working for another week. Here you're thinking, well, it's a bit of a shame. Maybe what could we have done to pick library C to begin with? Maybe we could have done some more analysis upfront, some more testing, more investigation to choose the right library to begin with. So here's an alternative. We take A, B, and C again. But instead of picking only one and working on just that one, we're going to work on all of them. We're going to get the whole team, let's say for simplicity that we have 4 people, and we're going to get them to work on A, B, C, and D at the same time. And they're going to do it for 4 weeks, just like before. Now at the end of the 4th week, you've looked at every single cases. You've been able to collect data about which library works, which one doesn't, which one is more suitable to your context, which one is less suitable to your context. And now you can actually make a proper decision about the fact that A wasn't correct, B wasn't correct, D wasn't correct, but C was the right one to go to. Now let's compare the two approaches. The one at the top was very efficient. You didn't spend any time working on the wrong library. You didn't work on A, you didn't work on D, and so this was very efficient. Now down here, you did spend a lot of time working on the wrong libraries. You might be thinking that you wasted a lot of effort, but it's not really wasted, is it? Because that's what allowed you to make an informed choice. And yes, of course, this took a lot more effort. But if you think about it, what it did is, it took a lot more bandwidth of the team to do this. But you didn't lose any time, because after the 4th week, you knew which one was correct. Not only you've increased the knowledge of the whole team on all the other libraries for future projects, but after week number 4, you've already been working on the right library for 4 weeks already. Unlike here, where you have to start from scratch again. Although you've lost some bandwidth, you haven't lost any time. And this is what being effective is, because you can make the right decision. So let's bring this back to agile development. Agility is about inspect and adapt. And the feedback cycles that you have are here to increase your agility. And they're here to increase effectiveness. That's why you have a review at the end to make sure you're doing the right thing. But it comes at a cost. You'll spend more effort doing this. It's inherently inefficient, really. And you could say that Agile makes the conscious decision to prioritize effectiveness over efficiency. Yes, there will be things to refactor. Yes, there will be things to redo and recode. Yes, there will be code to throw away and change when you get to the review and the next sprint. And more meetings to discuss all of that. Don't get me wrong, efficiency is important. But there's no point being efficient at building the wrong thing, is there? Having said that, you can be efficient at being effective. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means you can be efficiently agile. For example, you can be efficient with your stand-up. You can stick to the 15 minutes. And being efficient at the stand-up will help the team become more effective in how they update each other. You can be more efficient with your feedback cycles. You can try to be more efficient in how you gather the feedback, how often you get that feedback, so you can be more efficient at being effective. You can try and learn quicker, get feedback more regularly, by basically shortening those feedback cycles and learning as fast as possible. So here's a coaching tip for you. Between effectiveness and efficiency, ask your team, if you had to pick one, what would it be? In retrospectives or any other kind of meeting where people talk about how to improve, they talk about how to improve themselves as a process, as a team, which often translates into how to become more efficient. But rarely are people talking about how to become more effective. How to make sure we're building the right thing. For example, that people talk about the ability to scale, about how to reduce duplicated effort, standardizing the use of tools. All of this is about being more efficient. And you'll probably find that people never ask themselves that question. And that they probably never considered the trade-off between the two. Even worse, people seem to have decided to focus on efficiency alone. But if you ask them explicitly, most people come to the conclusion that effectiveness needs to be prioritized over efficiency. Again, if you're not solving the right problem, if you're not building the right thing, there's no use in being efficient at it. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting. And again, if you want to reach out, please put some comments in the section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And see you next time for another episode of the Agile Broadcast.